Welcome to Inspiring IT Leaders, where we feature top technology leaders in those amazing expressions they use to communicate, to teach, and to inspire. I'm Dan Roberts, your host of this series of 5-minute micro videos, and I am beyond excited to shine the light on the top digital and business leaders who are standout communicators. In this episode, we'll shine the light on Onyeka Nchege, the CIO of Healthcare Innovator, Novant Health, out of North Carolina. Known as a great communicator and a great storyteller, Onyeka is about to share one of the golden nuggets he uses when he's leading, coaching, and mentoring. So take it away, Onyeka.
I always talk about know thyself. And know thyself comes up in a number of conversations for me as I'm leading teams and helping teams be better, especially individuals. And where that comes into play is really understanding who you are at the core, what you do well, what you don't do well, and being true to that, right? So I think a lot of times we tend to focus on the things that we don't do well and hope to be better at the things that we don't do well. And I've had occasions where I've had to say to folks, know thyself. And know thyself is all about what is your strength, right? So what is it that you do really well? Because, we have proven that if you spend the same amount of time working on the things that you don't do well, and you spend the same amount of time working on the things that you do well, you incrementally move the needle much more, much further, much faster when you focus on the things that you do really well. You might get incrementally better on the things that you don't do well, but if you get even better at the things you do well, it's amplified, if you will. And so, especially when you're dealing with relationships and you're dealing with initiatives and you're dealing with high stakes organizations, being comfortable with who you are is incredibly important because I think that sets the stage for the things that you end up bringing the value into an organization. I remember a couple of times I was working with a team, and the stories I tell myself also come into play as well, because there were things that I was saying to myself about the situation I was in that weren't necessarily true. But then I had to remind myself, okay, Onyeka, take 2 steps back and know thyself, right? And know what it is that you bring to the table, and don't try to swim in a lane that's not yours, right? And that's part of the know thyself. Understanding what lanes you swim fastest in, understanding what lanes you need help in, right? And being able to ask for help when you need it. And so I incorporate all of those when I talk about know thyself. I've had situations where folks have come in my office and they're, hey, Onyeka, this happened, that happened, that happened. And I always go, okay, pause, time out, know thyself. Mm-hmm. And once I say know thyself, folks kind of go, you know what? You're probably right about that.
Brings them back to center. And
that's right.
Onyeka, you mentor so many people. You're so generous with your time. How often do people have good self-awareness like that?
Yeah. So you know what I've found? It's something that you have to be deliberate about, right? And I think you work your way up. You keep doing these things, and you keep getting promoted for things that you do well at, right? And all of a sudden, I think we tend to forget, because we always hone in on where I need to go figure out, or I need to take a class about this, or I need to go to this conference, or I need to go to this technical thing. And we forget that there are things that are about self-awareness that probably would take you much further if you're truly dialed in. But in order to do that, you have to be intentional about understanding who you are and how you are and why you are. And if folks are like myself, I don't like to ask the question. The why question is not one of my favorites. But I've learned, okay, Onyeka, if you're going to really lean in to this know thyself concept, you have to ask why, and drill down into the whys, because that's what helps you become self-aware. But yeah, it's not an easy thing, Dan. You again, there's got to be some intentionality about it for it to work.
So many golden nuggets here, Onyeka. I appreciate that. And I love the reinforcement of being intentional because I find, as you know, I spend my days with people like you, the best of the best leaders, and you're all intentional with these things. They don't happen by
accident. That's right.
And so know thyself, be aware of the stories you tell yourself, and be deliberate, be intentional, and play to your strengths. Play to your strengths. So many awesome nuggets, Onyeka. We're going to capture more with you, but thank you so much for these.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Dan. I appreciate the opportunity to share.
Hey there. I'm Ryan Becker, and I'm on the production team for the Inspiring IT Leaders video series. If you like this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up to help us grow, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. Also, be sure to check out the Tech Whisperers podcast, where we take a peek inside the playbooks of the best digital leaders so that we can help you grow your career in tech leadership. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.